Hi students, today in our class we are going to study about the characteristics of culture. Let's start our class. The first characteristics of culture is learned. Culture is learned. Culture is not inherited biologically but learned socially by man. It is not an inborn tendency. Shaking hands or saying namaskara or thanks, eating from a plate, combing the hair are all the ways of behavior learned by man culturally. And this is the first characteristics. The second characteristics of culture is it is social. The culture is social. The second characteristics, culture is social. Culture does not exist in isolation, neither is it an individual phenomenon. It is a product of society. It's it originates and develops through social interaction. It is shared by the members of society. It is a culture which helps man to develop human qualities in a human environment. Man become man only among men. It is social. Culture is social. The second characteristic. The third characteristic is culture is shared. Culture in the sociological sense, something shared. It is not something then an individual alone can possess. For example, custom, tradition, beliefs, ideas, values, morals, etc. are all shared by people of a group or society. Culture is something adopted, used, believed, practiced, or possessed by more than one person. It depends upon group life for its existence. The next characteristics of culture is transmissive. Means culture is transmitted from one generation to the other. Parents pass on culture traits to their children and they in turn to their children and so on. It is a continuous process through language. Here the language is the main vehicle to transmit the culture. The next characteristics of culture is continuous and cumulative. Culture exists and it is a continuous process. It is not stable and static. Culture is a consistent and integrated. The next characteristics, culture is in its development has revealed to a tendency to be consistent. At the same time, different parts of culture are interconnected. For example, the value system of society is closely connected with its other aspects such as morality, religion, customs, tradition, beliefs, and so on. The next characteristic is culture is dynamic and adaptive. The next characteristic, culture is dynamic and adaptive. There have been many changes and growth from the Vedic times to the present times. Culture is therefore dynamic. Culture is responsive to the changing conditions of the physical world. It is adaptive. Culture assists us to survive and adapt to the changes. So it is dynamic and it is adaptive. The next characteristic, culture is gratifying. Culture provides proper opportunities and prescribed means for the satisfaction of our needs and desires. These needs may be biological, social in nature. Our needs for food, shelter, on the other hand, our desires for status, name, fame, money are all fulfilled according to the cultural ways. Culture determines and guides the varied activities of man. Culture is defined as the process through which human beings satisfy their wants. So culture is, it is also guide to reach our aim. The next characteristic is culture varies from society to society. Every society has a culture of its own. It differs from society to society. It is not uniform. Culture of every society is unique to itself, like the customs, traditions, ways of dressing, living, and eating. So there is no common, the every culture is not same. The next characteristic is culture is super organic and dynamic. Culture is super organic and ideational. Like culture is sometimes called the super organic. For example, the in the society we can find different professions like professors, engineers, doctors, farmers are not just biological beings. They are viewed in their society differently. Their status, their roles can be understood only through culture. In conclusion, we can end like this. Every society consider its culture as an ideal. The people are also aware of their culture as an ideal one. So respect every culture. There are they are proud of their cultural heritage. So these are the characteristics of culture. Hope you understand. Thanks.